Good evening, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. Well, guys, today has been interesting. Woke up this morning. I actually got a ton of dishes done. I got a large chunk of laundry done, which was awesome. Which is pretty good too, because like today was Monday. I kept thinking I had like the bathroom to clean and stuff like that, and I was like, I don't, like, you know. So today I focused on editing a lot, which was really good. However, guys, if you had seen yesterday's vlog, I realized I ran out of space on my memory card, so which is why I got a lot of editing done for today. But I was sharing with you guys briefly about the thunderstorms and the tornado like warnings, and we were under a tornado warning, I believe, yesterday. Like the tornado sirens were going off. I can never remember the difference, right? And then there's like something like that I've seen people share, like I've seen people post like meme type stuff like about like relating the difference between warning and watches, between like about like tacos, like, and how to like make tacos. Like a watch means that there's the elements are right for making a taco or something like that. Like you have all the ingredients, but like you haven't made the taco. And a warning means that you have made the taco, and like there's warning, there's a taco. Like I've seen people use that meme, and I think there's another one that's like has to do with like hamburgers or something like that. I still don't really know the difference. Like I know one means that like the elements are right to produce a tornado, and another means that like a tornado's been spotted, look out. You know, like there's one definitely headed for you and or in your area. So I know the difference between the two. That's not what I struggle with. I struggle with remembering which one is which. And so I will say like, oh, we were under a tornado watch when I mean warning. So anyways, I think that we had a tornado warning yesterday because the tornado sirens went off, if that is indeed correct. That's what the warning is. And the thing is that I was sitting at my desk and all of a sudden like I hear it. The thing is that on very rare occasions, I can actually hear the lightning siren from our park that's like 2 blocks away, but the siren is like way far into the park, like near where the baseball diamonds are. And so like, and the park is really big. So like, and on very rare occasions, normally only if the windows are open, I can actually hear it. Like because you can hear it from that far. Like you can hear the pool and like the pool speakers even too. I mean, it sounds very, very dull, but like you can even still hear that from like our house in the summertime and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. But you know, so it's like one of those things where like in the park I can hear things that are like going on in the park. Like again too, if I haven't been able to hear, they do have like live music sometimes. I haven't really ever heard that, but I also haven't noticed on days when they do have it if I've been able to hear it or not. So anyways, I can hear though sometimes the lightning siren, and at first I was like, could that be the lightning siren that I'm just hearing? Because I knew that we were kind of in for bad weather, but I wasn't entirely sure. So like I said, I was like kind of listening, and then like after like a minute or two, because like the tornado siren, I feel like when there is bad weather, it's hard to hear, kind of. Like not insanely hard, but like you can only hear it really if you're near the windows, it feels like. And again too, this is coming from a person that can hear the lightning sirens that are in the park, and they're not loud. I mean, not that loud. Like, I mean, again too, they're hard to hear like from this distance unless you're really kind of listening for them. So, but the tornado sirens, I mean, like you can hear them, but they're also not, it's not that easy to hear. Like I feel like they definitely should be louder, and they're not. And like on days though, I feel like when they're doing the tests, they're loud. Like I can hear them, but when there's an actual like storm, it's very hard to hear. Like I don't know if it's because the rain, the wind, like whatever it is, it just, they sound way, way, way more dull. And so that's why I'm like thinking like that can't really be the tornado siren, right? And both my parents were asleep upstairs. This happened at around maybe 8, 9-ish, 10 maybe, or something like that. And the thing was is that because both my mom and dad had to work tomorrow, normally like on Sundays, like after the weekend, they both have been going to bed kind of earlier, just again too to kind of like make sure that they're back into that routine of like kind of going to bed a little bit earlier. Tonight they both stayed up later. Like my dad, they had football anyway, so they didn't get home until like 9 o'clock, but then I think my dad stayed, or maybe 8 o'clock, I don't remember, but My dad stayed up until close to like 10 o'clock tonight. And like I said too, my mom was like kind of falling asleep out on the couch. But anyways, so yesterday, like I said, you know, they're both sleeping upstairs. I went up there and was like, guys, I think that the tornado siren's going off. The weird thing is though, is that I didn't get any notification on my phone. Jack apparently got like maybe a tornado something, but like it didn't really, like, no, not everybody else got it on their phone. It might have also just been for like a severe thunderstorm or something like that. So but I heard like his phone like going off, like there was like a warning or something like that coming across it, but mine never went off. And so I was like, that's weird that like there's a tornado siren potentially going off and my phone is not like going off or anything like that. So I think that they also go off though too if there's really high winds, even if there's not a tornado or it's not like a tornado warning or whatever, like I said, whichever one that is. But because I never got like any type of notification or like alert on my phone or something like that, I wasn't really thinking that it was like actually the tornado siren that was going off. But I think that, like I said too, for very high winds or very strong winds, I think that they might also like turn them on or whatever, just so that people know to like get to safety, because that can also be, even if there's not an actual tornado, it might just be winds over a certain, you know, miles per hour that they also put them on out for, because I noticed that a couple times it's gone off and like we haven't really had like that bad of weather. I did hear yesterday that there were 3 confirmed like tornadoes. They were F0 tornadoes though, which is like the absolute lowest tornado, and I don't even know, they might be touchdown tornadoes, but they also could be just like rotating cells or like a supercell, which actually did hit us literally, I think in the park a long time ago. This was actually maybe when I was in high school, but like I said, the park that's 2 blocks away from us, it actually hit, like there was like a supercell or whatever like that actually hit and was like in like near the park or whatever it is, which is like damaging winds, like, you know, some type of rotating like cell. It can pick up, you know, a lot of stuff, and we had a lot of damage in our area at that time. So, like I said, yesterday there was 3 like confirmed, whatever an F0 tornado is. Like I said, I'm not a meteorologist. I don't really know. I just heard about it. And the wind was really bad yesterday. It actually knocked over a couple of our planters on our deck, which we didn't end up picking up. But today, they would have just ended up blowing over again, because we had the exact same storm type thing that happened again today. Except the difference is that there was actually a tornado, like a legitimate tornado. I again too don't know, like as of right now, like what it was, if it was like an F1 or, you know, again to an F0, whatever. But there was like confirmed tornadoes just south of us, and then there was one that was actually, there was a warning west of us, and the storm was moving west, so we were like right in the way for where it would potentially end up hitting. But then all of a sudden, like nothing ended up happening until we were actually out of the tornado like box again, where there was a warning. Like we were actually only in the corner of a warning box that was at the very end of like where it was. So we were like almost completely missed on all like directions, I guess, which is again too crazy, because I was telling you guys yesterday how I was like, I'm so surprised that we have power right now. What I know for sure, because we were watching the news, at one point there were 10 confirmed tornado touchdowns at the same time. All of Chicago, all of like, you know, Cook County was all in a tornado warning, which like the meteorologists were like, has never happened ever. Like, I mean, maybe not never happened, but as far as like they've been meteorologists that were like, it's never been all of like Chicago, Cook County being in a tornado warning, like all at the same time. And also too, there was a confirmed tornado in Chicago in the Loop also too, apparently. There were also tornadoes in both Midway and O'Hare airports, like confirmed tornadoes. Also showing some of the footage, and you could kind of see something that looked like it was like debris, like field on the ground, like how you would like, you know, again to a tornado, but it was like so dark that you couldn't really tell. But they were trying to like show footage from it. It was honestly, guys, today was insanely crazy. And I do know there was only one time where the lights flickered, and I was like, oh my goodness, we're going to lose power. I was like, please, no, please, like just hang on, like, you know, because at this point when it was actually flickering, it was I was looking out Jack's window and I just saw this like huge gust of wind, and I was like, oh my gosh. I'll show you guys the back deck, because all of this stuff, the chairs have been actually blown around out there. Like I said, this was maybe worse than yesterday, but it seemed like it lasted longer yesterday than it did today, like where we had like a longer like time of really bad wind, whereas today it was like we had bad wind for like a handful of minutes, and then it was like just kind of windy. It wasn't like, I mean, the wind was like whipping dangerously yesterday, and today it didn't seem like that as bad. But as far as like, again, to our area, like we were one little sliver that kind of didn't suffer what seems like a lot of bad weather. I saw that there was like around 60,000 people without power, which when there's that much devastation, like it takes a long time for the power to get like back on, because of all of the, you know, again, to clearing power lines, like all that kind of stuff too, and then just the volume of how many, you know, people are without power and having to get it turned back on in so many different areas. There was, again, too, I know one time, maybe also when I was in high school, it wasn't the same storm, I don't think. There was a different one where we were without power for like several days. My dad was considering getting a generator because it was like we were without power for a long time. Like I said, like several days. So I am so thankful that we have power. But it was, honestly, it was very scary today. Like, again, like seeing the backyard and the back deck, like the way it was kind of just blown around. And I am also too, we don't have any trees on our property. I think I've told you guys that. But our neighbors next door to us, they had a couple of like decent size, not huge. They actually only think have one tree, and the tree on their front like parkway, but they had a few branches. There wasn't anything super huge like big tree limbs or anything like that, but there were like a handful of branches. We have no tree except for a little baby tree that's out on our parkway that they planted last year, and I was so scared that it was gonna like get crushed yesterday because of the wind, but like everything was still standing. Like our bird feeder in the front yard was still fine, like our bushes looked like they were still fine. And it's funny too, because there was a storm earlier, like a few months ago or something like that. Like, it honestly, I think it was still in spring, maybe like April or something like that. We had a kind of bad windstorm, also like thunderstorm with wind, and there was a couple branches inside of our burning bush that actually like got blown out. But like, as of right now, I haven't noticed anything or really any damage, but I will show you guys the back deck just to show you guys like all the stuff that got like blown around, specifically though just there. And we also have like our cabana curtains back there, and that was what was scarier, like watching them whip around outside. So yeah, like I said, it was just like, I mean, 2 nights back to back where we have these just really horrible like storms. And you know, like I said, that it was scary. It was not fun. And to like see this ominous approaching like line of storms, and like they kept going to like, there's a confirmed tornado here, there's a confirmed tornado here, and then they like keep following it and stuff like that. And to have like 10 touch down along this line of storms all at the same time is also terrifying. But like I said, thankfully there was like this little sliver of like, again too, where there was like a tornado warning above us and below us, and then there was like also too, like I said, there was one earlier that was like behind us that I was like, that's what's coming for us, and then it like didn't go back into a warning until it was like pretty much past us again, and then we were like just in like the very edge of it, but then we were still like sort of above and below these other two. So like the fact that we just didn't end up getting like, again too, we were under a tornado warning, but it was like just, we got it at the very end of it, like whereas like the storm had like already passed, but we were still kind of in that like hot zone, you know. So like, but it was like at the very end of it, so like after like a couple more minutes we were out of it already. But like the county was still in like a tornado warning, if that makes sense. But like the area behind us then had like was out of the tornado warning, and then by that point like we were too. So like, and what we were in a tornado warning for was like the smallest amount of time. Like I don't even know, and I don't know how we still have power, because I think I was telling you guys too yesterday, it was like every single time that we get even the slightest little tiny storm, like, I mean, it could just be like a rainstorm and all of a sudden our power goes out, like, or you know, our internet goes windows out or something like that, like all the time. And like, and the weird thing would always be too is that like it would always be like, it seemed like on our block, or like not our block but like our grid, like our neighbors like that live like the block behind us, you'd see they still have power. Like the neighbors across the street from us, like they'd still have power. It'd be crazy sometimes that like we'd be the only like section like without power. And like, so it wasn't like our block, it was like whatever our grid, you know, like power grid kind of thing was on, but it was like always us. Like, I'm not even kidding, like multiple years of like summer storms and stuff like that, and it would always be our area that would always be without it. So again too, it looks like all of our neighbors as well still have power, so I don't think that much of it was like affected. I know that there were a lot of trees down yesterday, and like people are posting like, is power out over in this area and that area and stuff like that. And so like that was like smaller significant, like maybe a tree down on like a power line or something like that. But it wasn't like we had like power knocked out to like 50% of our, you know, city or something like that. If there was, it was very small, you know, like things like that. But like I said, the fact that, you know, we still have power is pretty crazy. So let me show you guys real quick the back deck. All right guys, maybe I'll also try and take a picture or something tomorrow, but these were the planters that got like knocked over yesterday. This was also a tablecloth that I had hanging up outside to dry, because it's like one of those plastic ones. I couldn't put it in the dryer, but it's now on the ground. So that happened. Also too, all of our like cabana curtains look like they're fine, but they were also blowing like crazy, and I think they were knocking into like those planters yesterday. But then this chair that's here, and I know you guys can see our floors that are still not finished in here. Somebody's supposed to be coming this week to do them, I believe. This chair that's here, you guys can see this one, was like all the way over like there, and it got blown all the way on this side. But as far as I can tell, that looks like it was really the only, like, and I mean, even that chair too was not like that originally. Some of this, like, again, two heavier things that didn't get blown around yesterday, today did, which makes me think that we got at least good gusts of wind, like stronger gusts of wind, but the consistency of the wind was worse yesterday than it was today. So like I said, I think that that's it. But even to like our bistro lights, like all that stuff, like they're still fine. I think that some of our, we have little, which they're not on right now because I think it's too late. They only stay on for a couple hours. We have little lights outside that are like, what's it called? Like solar lights, like little fairy lights that go around here. I think the ones on these side, these ones fell down on this side, but they do honestly a lot of the time, even if there's not that much like wind or anything like that. Some of this stuff I kind of expected to happen anyway, but like the chairs that I know got like kind of blown around, like you guys can see like how this one's like turned this way. It was not like that. And it's kind of a heavy chair too. Like, so the fact that it was like being pushed around like that, and these ones, even this one, you know, it had to have been because this was not in front of this door. So all of these chairs actually were way further this way that got moved. Like I said, that was probably the most significant part of the whole thing, was just this back deck is kind of a little bit, you know, blown around and messed up and stuff like that. And all my mom's planters with their little plants in it, they all spilled over, and I think there's dirt on the deck. But yeah, had we even like tried to fix them today, they would have ended up blowing over again. Again too, I don't think, or haven't really noticed any other like damage, and nobody else said anything about like, you know, shingles or siding and stuff like that. At least nothing that anybody noticed immediately. We have probably about 50% of our house is siding, and about 50%, maybe actually less than 50% is siding. Most of it's brick, so for the most part we don't really have much siding problem. Half of the like the front part of the house is, and then the upstairs, the second floor that's dormered out, is siding. But the downstairs, like on the other side of my wall downstairs, is brick. So for the most part we don't have like a problem very bad with siding, but we might want to just double check all that stuff, and like again shingles and all of that kind of thing as well, roofing and that stuff, because like I said, there was a good point where I saw like the wind gusts were really bad, but like I was saying too, like compared to yesterday, it was the longevity of the wind that like lasted so long. That was what was kind of scary, because it was strong, but it was a lot longer yesterday, and like, you know, but again too, wasn't as bad as today's like the gusts, I think, and like again miles per hour wind gusts that we ended up getting. But like I said, it's really scary, especially too when a tornado actually is in a major city. Like, that is another thing that like I have never really heard of. Like, there's a tornado that is like touched down inside of a, you know, like multi, you know, like high-rise building type area, you know, with skyscrapers. Like, that does not happen very often at all, which is what is kind of scary. So, and like they were saying too, like the lake kind of protects a lot of times from that because of, again, I don't know, not a meteorologist, but the way the wind is and everything like that, like it protects, you know, kind of sometimes because of the way, like I said, the cold front or the wind or whatever it is, sometimes does. But I guess with this specific storm, it really didn't have much of an effect at all. So like I said, that's just, it's crazy. But today was way worse than yesterday. I'm just very thankful that we're all okay. And I know that it was out near Matthew too, like they said earlier, like, but I don't even know if they were under tornado anything. I think it was just severe thunderstorms possibly. But like even too, I know that they had some, you know, like effect, you know, like it was funny too because they were talking about how they had camera crews that were like where Matthew lives, which is about a 45-minute drive or whatever. They were more out in front of it where it was like coming towards us, like it hit them first and then us. But they said that it was like there was no like real damage or anything like that, I think, to like the reporters were saying, to like anything in the area really. So you know, like I said, it's just, that's scary. It was very scary. And like also too scarier that it's back-to-back nights in a row that kind of thing happens, which like I've never really had, because normally like when a storm like that happens, a lot of times it brings with it a lot of cooler like temperatures, and so then it kind of cools off. Like very rarely does it continuously stay. Like it was like 90 degrees today after a storm like last night where like you have like tornadoes and stuff like that. Normally it tends to like go, the temperature tends to drop, but that didn't happen today, and it was very scary. So thankfully, like I said, we're all okay, and for the most part our, like I said, area looks like it's okay. It's funny, I didn't really see anybody posting like trees down or anything like that in our city. It was most of the places around us like from yesterday, but I don't know exactly what happened today and that kind of stuff too. But definitely you know, like I said, very nerve-wracking. But it looks like the weather's supposed to be sunny and I think cooler-ish maybe for the rest of this week, which for Thursday and having to go to the football scrimmage will be a lot better, because I was like, is it supposed to be like this? Because literally too, we had these two bad storms back-to-back nights, but it's been like a at random point in the day it'll just like start like downpouring, like raining, and this has happened like probably at least once a day for the last like several days at least. So I was like, please don't let there be rain on Thursday, because we have to go to that football scrimmage. I don't want to be sitting out in the rain recording the, you know, the scrimmage for, you know, doing the camera for the scrimmage. Thankfully, like I said, I think this is supposed to be kind of it, at least for the rest of this week until like maybe the weekend. I don't really know, but it looks like somewhat better weather, which I guess is good. So anyways, I will see you guys in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.